Hello, hello. Thank you for coming to our Wednesday workshop. Jen and I are here and we're really excited to talk with you today all about multiple streams of income. So this is a live call. So right now there's no one on the call, but maybe some people will be able to join us. Either way, we're glad that you're able to watch this replay because Jen and I have a lot to share and we're really excited about this topic. This topic actually grew from a post in the community, just kind of a quick question of like, do you know about multiple streams of income? Do you want to know about them? Do you already have some? So it got a lot of conversation going, and we thought, let's do our Wednesday workshop all about making more money through having multiple streams of income. And so we're excited to be here with you and chat about that today. Jen and I have some notes on what we want to talk about with you today, but if there's anybody who does end up dropping live on the call, we'll invite them to join the conversation if they would like to and let us know, kind of what they're thinking and wondering about multiple streams of income. So let's go ahead and just get started by talking about what do we mean when we're saying multiple streams of income? And just at its core, it's the definition of multiple streams of income is really more than one way to bring in money or income, right? So building intentionally another stream, another stream is the money coming in, right? So another avenue to make more money. Now, what you do with that more money is really open, right? Some people make more money and have a multiple streams of income because they want to save and invest more. Some people want to make more money because they want to pay off some debt. Some people want to make more money because they want to go on a vacation, next year for their anniversary. Like there's a million reasons why we might want to make more money, but today we're just going to really focus in on the actual ways and philosophies behind multiple streams of income. Right, Jen? Anything to add to that?
No, I think that you kind of covered all the big points. Like the real key is here that anybody can have more than one way of making money, and it doesn't matter if you're making a ton of money on your additional incomes or if you're just making a tiny bit. Like, I mean, I always say, all of us, I think, always say, like on our podcast and here, that every dollar counts, everything matters. Tiny dollars add up to big dollars when you invest them or add them together. So we're not necessarily talking about ways to make a gazillion extra dollars. Sometimes those ways do kind of fall into our laps or we can really hustle hard for them. And other times there's just ways that we can add, like cover the grocery money every month, or, put an extra $100 in our stockpile fund, or whatever it is that we're working on, which is kind of what Sybil was saying. So it's really for anybody. I don't want people to be listening and being like, well, I don't have time for 2 full-time jobs or whatever. We have a ton of options here that don't take tons of time. And then there's others that take more. So we're just going to kind of try to cover a variety, at least, even if we don't cover something that is like exactly what would work for you. Hopefully we can just kind of get some ideas flowing and you can get an idea of things that work for other people.
Yeah, exactly. And we just want to share things that have worked well for us as well. Or also you might share some things that we tried and for whatever reason, it didn't pan out for us, because I want you to also walk away knowing that like this is not like an easy one size fits all. I'm gonna invest in real estate and it's gonna go 100% perfectly. And there's plenty of things that you don't end up feeling the passion about anymore. And you're like, actually, this feels like work that I don't want to do. Okay, feel good about letting it go too, right? Just because you've made a decision to move forward with one kind of way to make more money. I also wanted to mention Ikigai at this point. I know I talk a lot about Ikigai, but Ikigai is a Japanese concept, and it means basically your purpose for living or why you get out of bed in the morning. It's an intersection of things that you're good at, things that you love, things that the world needs, and things you can be paid for. And I'm kind of at a point, not kind of, I kind of say that, but I am at a point where I'm like really striving to meet this concept of ikigai for myself. And so that has helped me decide kind of which avenues in building more income I want to go with. What is bringing me joy? What am I good at? What skills? And I'm actually kind of in an encore career, some people would call it, kind of that meaning making part of your life of like, I want to build wealth and make more money so I can meet certain goals, right? And so I just wanted to mention ikigai as well, because I think it's a really powerful concept in living a fulfilling life and just helping yourself work hard to meet those financial goals. Because everything we're going to talk about today, no matter how, small or big, you have to build habits and work towards it and decide to move forward with it. Even something as small as investing $1 a day in an investment account, for example. It sounds easy, but it's actually hard to do because you have to set up a routine to make it happen. Right? It's easy to buy into the concept of I'll put $1 a day in an Acorns, a robo-advisor, for example, is something that I've done. And that sounds easy, but then to actually do it and let it withdraw from your account every single day or once a month is how I do it. I do $31 a day. It's really amazing if you can get that habit and actually make the decision to do it and then do the habit, I should say. That's like a way to start saving money and making more money, because if you put it into, the stock market through like a robo-advisor in this case, compound interest plays in. So every bit of interest you make on the money also gets interest more and more made on it as it sits over time. I actually wanted to give you guys a peek into my account, because this has kind of been a fun side project for me. The way I started it was that I was going to put $1 a day into this robo-advisor Acorns for each child. So I really started this with $60 a day. Right now, I just put $31 a day in it. And that was about 10 years ago, and it's grown to $15,928. And that's really cool, thinking about me only putting in $1 or $2. I was putting in $2 a day for a long time. But that's because of compound interest, right? Like this account has gone up 59% because I have it at an aggressive investing level. But that's a really good gains. That means I put in like less than 7,000 of this almost 16,000, right? And you can see here, I have reoccurring $31 is what I set it at right now, and you can change it. But I've invested 107 in the last 30 days, and that's because of roundups. Now, I'm not sure why my roundups is showing 0 here, but I have it set to a couple of my credit cards and debit card. And so if I buy something for like $3.50, I let it round up 50 cents. So it puts 50 cents into this account for me. And you know what? I'll be completely honest with you. I don't feel it at all. Yet look, it grows. Like that's so fun. But that's one way that I'm making, this is kind of my fun. I don't know. This is my fun money. I'm not gonna, I haven't touched it. I haven't taken any of it out. But it's one way that like I've just been found to make a little bit more money without even feeling it at all. And that's really cool. And if I can also track this, right? Like I'm investing more than $1 a day because of my round ups, right? I've noticed a lot of stores actually ask you now. Goodwill has always asked, do you want to round up for your purchase, to donate to Goodwill. But I've noticed a lot more stores actually asking you to round up too. But it's an interesting concept to think about, isn't it? Like to invest your roundups, because then they compound and grow as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'll share one of my streams of income. How about that? We'll just kind of go back and forth, and then we'll get like a variety of ideas and kind of get your, like I said earlier, just kind of get your wheels turning, get your ideas flowing so that you have things that you can think about. And, one thing too that you're going to notice while we're sharing is some of these streams of income require a larger investment on the front end. Others require 0 investment at all, maybe an investment of your time and your work and your effort. And the other thing that I was thinking about when you were talking, Sybil, is I cannot tell you how many times I have seen in like, I'm in several like entrepreneur Facebook groups or different things, and I will see people post pretty regularly. I really need to make some more money, but I don't have any extra time. What should I do? And I just I have to sometimes not read the comments because comments can really amp any of us up. But I just want to emphasize to you that there isn't anything you can do without putting in some time or some money or some effort to make money. Like if there was stuff that we could just sit at home and not have to work and we could all just be rolling in the cash, like we would all already be doing that, right? So I'm sorry to say that there isn't any way to like make a ton of money without initially putting some investment in, whether it's your time or money or effort or whatever. So just keep that on the front end. We're not here to share any get rich quick schemes. Like that's not our jam. And everything we've done has come from an investment of financial investment or just effort, right? Just some hard work and effort. So to keep on the same lines as Sybil, I have made during the COVID like quarantine time, I was like, I would like to learn about how to invest in the stock market. We had money invested, like we have an advisor and we have money invested that way. And so I was like sort of familiar, but like not really. So I just started reading a bunch of articles and learning and understanding about the stock market and how to buy and sell and things you can do there. I also have money that I just put in and leave and don't touch, but it is fun for me to buy things and watch them and like sell them off when they hit what I think might be a high, and then sell them if they're going down. And that has been a really interesting thing for me. I've actually made a fair amount of money doing that. I just started with a small investment. You don't have to have a ton of money. You could buy one share of one stock, and there are even things called penny shares where it's just a few cents for a share. So you can, if that interests you and you want to like learn more about it, that is a way that I've made many thousands of dollars doing that, but I really read a lot about the stocks I purchased. Some of it's luck, right? Some of it was because I really paid close attention. But I was able to pay for half. We went on an anniversary trip to France a few years ago, and I was able to pay half the trip just with money I had made. In the stock market. So that was a stream of income that I've created for myself. I also sold a bunch off recently to pay for something else that we needed to have done at the house. And so that has been a stream of income for me. Again, I had to put in some time, and I started with a little bit of money, and then I started reinvesting some of the money that I made in different ways. So that's another way that you can do it. It's a little more hands-on. There's a lot of risk involved. But it is one way. If you start really small, you're not risking too much, but then you can kind of start to build on it.
Yeah, that's so great. It really, because I probably failed to say it, invest in our retirement accounts, our IRA, our HSA, which we can talk a lot more about all of these, and then our brokerage account, right? And the brokerage account is for us what really allowed me to now make this big shift of some of our money in the brokerage account over to a rental property, which I can talk about in a minute. But I just wanted to say, like, in learning about the stock market, learning about different ways to invest, whether it's through robo-advising and you just set one of 3 levels and it does it all for you, or like Jen mentioned, you can be a bit more active with that learning, and if your risk tolerance is really what it's about, and your level of knowledge and understanding and being willing to, fail and learn from it, I think is an important part too, right? Like, so that's really, really great to think about. And I quickly went over, our 401ks and our IRAs and all of that. But one reason a lot of people like to make more money with another stream of income is so they can invest it in those kinds of accounts as well and just let it sit and grow for their future, right? And so we always end up coming back, don't we, Jenna, to talk about short-term goals and long-term goals and how we really need to be focusing on both of those. And this conversation today is really a wealth builder conversation. It's at the stage in your financial life that you are thinking differently about how you could possibly make more money. We're still thinking about how we can spend less. We're still thinking about budgeting. We're still thinking about all these things, but we're also thinking, how can I make more money to meet X short-term or long-term goal, right? That's what we're really talking about a lot today here. So another way that I kind of alluded to that we have been building wealth, and another stream of income is in property management and owning a short-term rental. So we bought a short-term rental, oh, I think it's 10 years ago, like right now. I didn't even realize I just put out a post, and I think that was our 10-year anniversary of owning our condo in the mountains. That's amazing. But 10 years ago, it was super scary, and I can't believe I did it, to be honest with you, but I'm so glad I did. And I wouldn't have been able to do it if I hadn't been at a place in my learning and that I felt like I could do it. So my strategy, my first number one that I ever started, extra stream of income that started making substantial money, let's say, instead of little money. I had a couponing blog, it made a little money. I taught night classes, it made a little money, right? And I kind of served my needs with those. But buying this condo as an investment property and renting it out on Airbnb was my first like stream of income that was significant. So right now, this condo brings in on average $1,200 a month of semi-passive income, I say, because it's nothing is totally passive, as Jen just said, right? There's no income out there that is 100% passive. Is this relatively passive at this point? Yes. I've got, 200 something reviews, 232 reviews with a 4.88. It takes care, the selling it is very passive. But do we still have to do maintenance? Yes, we just painted the whole place, all the upkeep. Do we pay our property managers and have, tenants have issues and different things, right? So there's a little bit of work that I do right now, but it's relatively passive at this point. Was it at the very beginning? Not at all, right? That's another thing about another stream of income. You often have to invest time, if not money, but for sure time at the beginning of the journey as well, and have the long picture in mind. Like I couldn't imagine it 10 years later, but 10 years later, it's paying all expenses, the mortgage, and bringing us $1,200 a month relatively passively. So that's hard to imagine, but what I want you to do is to be inspired by this call and to think, I can start building something now that is really going to serve me well for my future self too. What we love about this place is that we get to go up there mostly during off season because it's an investment, number one, to us. But we love being up there. It's right on Lake Dillon. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And I'm so grateful that we made that choice. And I'll say that like, it was scary, but if we hadn't done it, like we would never have been able to take that next level up with income, right? And we would have never, like, we just bought a house, our second house here in Denver, and we're doing a house hack. So we're renting out the basement, and it was scary again. And what did I tell myself? It's going to be okay. You did it last time and you're glad you did. You've done your math, you've done your homework, you're working with good people, right? I have to remind myself of these things, and I want to remind you of that. Like, it's really hard in the beginning when you take a leap and decide to start building an online project, buy a piece of real estate, right? There is risk involved. But if you're like, you've done the math and you understand what choices you're making and how you're moving forward, you've done the literacy, the financial literacy learning, you can do it and you can move forward. And our community, the Female Finance Collective, is here to help you, right? Because we need to encourage each other, right? To keep going and moving forward. And so this rental below me will be a long-term rental. So short-term rental up in the mountains makes perfect sense because it's like Resortville. People go there to ski, they go there to go to the lake for a week at a time. This is going to be a 1-year lease, long-term rental below us here in, kind of a suburban neighborhood of Denver. So that's another income stream that we're trying to build. Do we have to put some money into it? Yes, a lot to buy this house, but we needed somewhere to live as well. but also we're remodeling the bar area into a kitchen. And so we've done all the math. Like I said, like we figured out how long it's going to take to pay back the kitchen, for example, before we start making monthly income on it. On top of that, again, it's a decision for like a longer term goal for us, is to build this stream of income to be bigger and more passive in the future. And that time freedom, we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, haven't we, Jen? Like buying yourself time freedom is for me an ultimate goal of like, how do I build up income streams that buy me some time freedom, right? Yeah.
So
You're
like
off to you, Jen.
yeah, all right. We also have a long-term rental. We don't have a short-term rental. We own a condo. Our decision was to buy a condo. It was less expensive than buying a house as a rental. And we bought it in a desirable area, but it was very affordable. And then we've used it as a long-term rental. We've been super lucky, and we're 3 years in with the same tenant. So that doesn't always happen. And we also, it's in Ohio, and we have moved away from Ohio. And so that's a little bit stressful, but we have people there who can help us with managing and whatever, if we need it. We've a good handy person who goes there. Those are all things you have to consider. You kind of touched on that, Sybil, but if you own a rental property, you have, like, you're in charge. Like if something breaks, you have to fix it. So it's, if we didn't still have the same tenant, we probably would have sold it by now. So our investment was, we knew that the condo would appreciate in value because of where it's located. There's a lot of factors that went into that specific purchase in that specific town. But we also knew that we could make money on the monthly income. So it was kind of a two-part investment for us. So we also have long-term. And then there are some other things that are less, we're talking about kind of like bigger money investments, but there are a ton of non-big money investments. So let me just kind of give you a few quickly that can kind of get your brain going, and then we'll share some others that we have done. So there are things like, if you're a stay-at-home mom or a mom who's maybe works half-time, and you have a neighbor or a friend who has a kiddo who needs childcare. I've had friends who watched another kid like 2 days a week, like Tuesdays and Thursdays or whatever, and then that family paid them. It saved them a little bit of money because daycare was less expensive. It was less expensive to take them to their friend's house than daycare, but the friend made some extra income. So that is one option to consider. There's also things like dog walking, and there are apps that you can join to do this. There's there's like Care. There's like an app called Care, and there's a lot of, I think it's care.com or something like that. I've seen people use it before. I can look it up and comment when we post this of what the actual app is, but I know that there's lots of different opportunities on there for caring for other people and maybe even pets. Rover is like a dog walking app that you can use where you can do pet sitting and dog walking. And then we actually lived next door to this kid. He was like 20. He lived with his parents for a while. He built up a business on Rover, then quit Rover and just built his clientele separately. And that kid, for calling him a kid, it's a grown-up, it's 20, felt like a kid to me. He was also being far more entrepreneurial at 20 than I was. But he actually was, but we asked him once if he could watch our dog, and he was booked like 3 months out for dog sitting. So he had really just built that up as a way to make some additional income to his kind of day job. There's also things like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, any type of delivery service. Those are all, and there's other Uber, there's like Uber Package now where you can, like, it's not just food delivery. They have all kinds of companies who are running errands for people, picking things up. And there's another one the name has just escaped my mind, but I'll think of that one also and either shout it out when I think of it or share it. But they're especially in bigger cities. So I'm in Dallas, which is a huge suburban, urban and suburban area. And so there are all kinds of companies where you can do delivery driving for all the things, right? And so that's a really good opportunity that is really flexible with time. So like, if you're like, one night a week, I commit to doing this for 4 hours, or 2 nights a week, or whatever it is, just to bring in a little bit more money, whatever you're using it for, whether you're going to invest that money or buy groceries with it or whatever it is. Those are some good options as well. And then I'm going to talk about Upwork. And I'm only going to talk about Upwork because it's what I'm most familiar with. I know there are people who use other, Fiverr is a platform, but I always struggled with Fiverr a little bit. I feel like it's easier if you're the business on Fiverr to find applicants than it was to like apply for jobs there. But Upwork is basically an opportunity for you to, some people work full time through Upwork. Other people just use it as like a side hustle. But you basically sell your skills. So whatever it is you're good at, if you're a human resources person and that's what you do during the day, there are all kinds of small businesses out there who are looking for a human resources person to help them with like one small project. Like, we just need you to help us put together our our little write-up about whatever, this job posting. There's all kinds of things, accounting projects, IT projects, like whatever it is you're good at. I was a teacher, so I was applying for and did a couple of projects that like educational companies needed help with. They just needed like consulting. Can you read and review this? Can you put this material together? There's really anything. And I'm only like barely brushing the surface of all the job opportunities on Upwork. So if that interests you at all, you should scroll through. And then I'll just tell you the best way to get started. I took a little course about it, is to do jobs that basically pay you nothing for a couple weeks. And those jobs really are fast. They take you like 15, 20 minutes. Just do the ones that say you don't need any experience and you're going to like review a product on Amazon. I did that a couple times, like just random things, because what happens then is they review you and they say 5 stars, they followed through, they communicated, they did the job, it was good. And then they'll pay you like $5 for that. So if you do that a few times, then you can kind of start to raise your rate. You can apply for a little bit higher level jobs. And then over time, over like, depending on how long you work through this process, after a couple months or so, you'll have your hourly wage up to what you want it to be, and you'll be getting some higher level jobs. But people are hesitant on there to hire someone with no job history, no reviews or anything. So that's the best way to start there. So that is one additional way. You're kind of like a little freelancer on Upwork, and they pay you and money goes straight into your checking account, and it's really nice. And you can do it all through Upwork. You shouldn't, so it's not sketchy, right? Everybody should be paying you through the app, and they have a website and an app. So it's really easy to like get rolling in that. So if you have a skill that you feel like, oh, other businesses might pay me to work on projects for them, that's another good opportunity.
That's such a good one, Jen. Thanks for mentioning that. I have not sold my services through Upwork, but I've used Upwork as a user. And I had a guy put together my audiobook off of Upwork. He did a fabulous job, and that's a skill and something he could do on the side, right? So you know what else about like Upwork and freelancing and even consulting is you start to get to find what you enjoy doing, and you start to get good at it. You start to see what the people's problems are and what they actually need from you as a service, right? So it's really good if you want to also like move into entrepreneurship, which is the next one we can talk about now, is like building something online, right? The big part, like a big aha and learning over the last couple of years of me trying to do this, is just that clarifying your message. What are you actually trying to say and sell and do, right? Because you can make money, you can make royalties, for example. So I've got a book out, and that book, Burn Bright Not Out, is actually was my transformation. And so that helped me with my messaging. But when I first published it, I was like, this is my message. And now I'm realizing it's a piece of my messaging, right? But like consulting, doing Upwork jobs, you start to find out what people want to buy and what they want, what your unique insights and solutions are. So I highly recommend like thinking about freelancing in a way while you still have a 9-to-5 as an extra stream of income. And you'll also find out things you don't like to do, right? You offer it and you're actually getting clients, and you're like, this doesn't bring me joy. Like, that's very valuable information as well. Today is like the best day to build something online. It's never been a better day. There's so many people going into it, and there's so many people out there as customers for all of us, right? So you could build a membership like the Female Finance Collective. You can build a podcast. You can build a YouTube channel. You can build digital products. You can build services, solutions for people. You can build software. You can do all of these things today for free, not time free, but without putting a dollar into it, right? And yes, does it take a long time? Is it a long game? Absolutely. But if that's what you want to do and start building, then like all the power to you, you're in the right place, because that's what we're doing too, right? There's so much opportunity. And then you will get like royalties for the book. You will get membership fees that people pay to join your membership. You will get, maybe you sell on Etsy, digital products. You will get, paid back from Etsy. You will get, a little bit of money back. And if you save or invest that money, then there you go. That's going to compound too, and reinvest it back into whatever you're doing. But there's just, I want you to be open to the possibilities online. And again, that's kind of a time one, you're paying with time. But if that's what you want to do and change your life in some way, it's a pretty cool way to do it. I have some friends who have been international teachers for the last 9 years. We met them in Dubai, and they started a YouTube channel 2 or 3 years ago, the Bags Packed Family. Check them out. They vlog their family travels. And they're going full time now. They quit their teaching jobs and they are full-time YouTubers. Like, they're just like you and I. Yes, Jonathan loves to talk. I love you, Jonathan. And Kelly is amazing, and their 3 kids, but they're just talking and blogging about their travels. Are they doing it well? Yes. Did he get better and better at editing? Yes. Is it their passion? Yes. And now they've like completely changed their job. And that's so inspirational to me, like to see them do that and be like cheering them on. So watch their channel and subscribe. It's Bags Packed Family. They're really fun, Jonathan and Kelly. So there's a lot of opportunity online as well, like with your services through Upwork, but also building your own thing and collaborating with people like Jen and I and Meryl Lee for the podcast. Like really find a lot of joy in collaborating and helping women, through our podcast and in our community. It's just such a pleasure. So thank you for trusting us too, dear members. We love you so much. I'm getting sentimental now, Jen.
That's all right. It's good. But that lines up with what you're saying. Like, it has to be something that like you feel like sentimental, you feel some emotion about it, because it is hard work and it does take time. And if you don't feel a connection to it, then it becomes an additional chore. And there may be some hard work that you have to put in that's not enjoyable at the beginning, for sure. I mean, please know that there's some stuff Sybil and I have had to figure out on the back end of this, and we're like, what in the, I can't tell you how many times, because I had created a class and a website earlier, and I was like Googling, like, how do you do this? And it would take me like all day to learn how to do something that somebody else could have literally done in 5 minutes. But I was like, well, I'm not going to pay them. I don't have money. So I was figuring it out. So, it is, you have to remember the end game. Like, there are going to be struggles and challenges no matter what kind of, side hustle you're putting together or what entrepreneur idea activity you're building. None of it is super easy. I mean, if it becomes very easy, you just get really lucky, because most of us it becomes easy because we've put in a ton of hard work on the back end. We've been doing stuff for over a year to prepare for something that like just comes out. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes for everybody, but there is like this element of hustle. If you're like, you know what, I really need some income, I could watch kids on one night a week. Tell your friends, hey, I'm doing, like, I will watch your kids on Friday nights or whatever. Like, put it in your community pages. Like, just, will you mow someone's lawn? Sure, there's probably like some neighbor. My mom hates mowing her lawn, so she like pays the neighbor. She's like, would you mind mowing my lawn? I'll pay. And he was like, sure, I would love to, Linda. And he like gave her an amount. She was like, great. So it's working out for him. He's making like an extra 100 and whatever bucks a month. And my mom doesn't have to mow her lawn. So like those types of things too. There's just like a little bit of hustle, a little bit of creativity, and you'd be amazed at all the things people would love some help with. Right. And I think that's a big one too. Just thinking about what is interesting to you. Or so I also have had a network marketing business for years. I know there are mixed feelings about network marketing. Just as with any business and any company, there are excellent ones and there are terrible ones, and then there's some in the middle, right? A good network marketing company doesn't charge you to start a business. They don't make you carry the product. You don't have to like they should have the products, right? You shouldn't have to have inventory in your house. Like, so you can kind of do some due diligence and evaluate that. If social selling is interesting to you, it was not interesting to me. It was an accident. I just happened to love the company and love the products. And so I was just randomly telling people about it, and they were like, where'd you get it? And so then I add this like accidental little, it's a very little side hustle that I have. So if there's a company that you buy products from that you love, like maybe that's a good opportunity for you. But as with anything, there is like some work you got to do. You got to vet things out, make sure if things sound too good to be true, it probably is, right? If they're asking for more money than feels right, then ask yourself that. And that's true for anything. On Upwork, do not do some job that those people should be paying you $2,000 to, and they're like, will you do this for $10? No, like, there's also kind of that thing where you have to filter things out, get your little antennas up. Like, does this feel good? Does this feel weird? Is this too much? Whatever. There are just so many opportunities out there. Like Sybil said, now this is the best time because so many people are working for themselves now. That there are just tons of opportunities, and people are happy to pay a good person to do the job. They would rather pay an individual many places than pay a big company or hire in a big company. So you just have to look, and you have to get creative and think about your passions. Oh, sorry, one more thing, and then I'll throw it to you to like share the ends and wrap it up. But I have learned how to crochet, and there's this gal, she used to be a teacher, but she actually works at the yarn shop now, but she teaches crochet classes, and she started a YouTube channel, and she has a decent sized following on social media. This is not for everyone. If making a video makes you nauseous, this is not for you. But if this type of thing is interesting to you, she has built quite a following on social media, teaching tips on how to crochet, teaching about different types of yarn and all of that. And it's an income stream for her now. She works at the yarn shop, she gets paid to teach classes, and she's making money on her like her YouTube channel and her social media channels. So, I mean, that's another one too. If you have something you're really good at that you would enjoy teaching people about, there's always that. We always
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that up. And you know what, I also wanted to say that some people hate social media and they won't ever go into entrepreneurship because they think they have to be on social media. And I want to say, and then Jen, I know you would agree with me, I see you nodding your head, is that is not true. You do not have to do social media if you want to be an entrepreneur and sell a book or do your digital products. You can do it. There's so many ways to do it now. Social media is only one of them, right, Jen? And things like Skool, Skool, here, you're in our Skool community. It's a great place to meet like-minded people and sell and build together, right? Like, it doesn't have to be on LinkedIn or on Instagram. Like, you can build, that's the thing of the future. That's the thing. You're in this early in this community and Skool, but it is the future. It is where we find our people that are like-minded and want to focus on and talk about and learn together. And so we can all do that together, right? So it's very different than the social media where the algorithm just picks who gets to see your post, and it's all dependent on how many people like it and comment. Well, there's another world coming up, and I'm excited about it. And you're already in it here in Skool because we can see each other and interact and have conversations, but we don't have to do it in such a high pressure, scary way, to me anyway. Like, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. There's no doubt about it. So I just wanted to throw that out there today. So this has been an amazing conversation, Jen. We've talked about why You might want to build more than one stream of income. We've talked about what it means, multiple streams of income. It means bringing in money from different avenues. We talked about how finding things that we love and are good at, and that the world might be your little community, the person next door that needs their lawn mowed. Like, just have that perspective of where I am compared to those others around me, right? What does the world around you, your community need? And what can you be paid for? And when you have that framework and that openness, and you have financial goals, this is a really exciting place to be. We talked about rental income. We talked about, oh my gosh, now I've forgotten all of them. Investment income. We've talked about, what else? Uber and like Rover. What else, Jen?
Like babysitting, you already have your kids at your house, bring in one more.
Yep.
Helping friends and family. People need help all the time. Running errands. There's people who are sick, injured, whatever, and they're like, I just need someone to run some errands for me. There's those like little side hustle-y things. We talked about Upwork and being like a freelancer and creating that.
Yep. And then talked about the digital world and all the possibilities that are out there, and inventing your own if you want. That's what I like to do. I like to innovate and make my own different thing. So thank you so much for watching this and thinking about multiple streams of income with us today. Please comment below and let us know, like, what resonated with you. What are you working on? Where are you in your journey? Do you want to build another one? Do you have another one? Like, let's get the conversation going. And we would love to build more tools for you. Do you need like a workbook on different kinds of side hustles? What do you want? We are here to serve you and to make your finances less stressful, to help you feel more confident, right? And just to have these open and honest conversations. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the inside.